Awesome.
Welcome, Allyssa. Thank you so much for taking the time to have this conversation today. Um,
Yeah.
it's really been wonderful getting to know you these past couple months now over the phone, and being with you live video is new for us, and it's great to have this time together. What I'm out to create today is that we have a way to share with other people a bit more about what body presentations are, what they've given you and as a performer, and just to share about what you're doing in the world, because I'm really inspired by you and the contributions that you're making, and think that you're, really bringing a lot of your unique self to the world and finding outlets for it. And I know many people are just dying to find those kind of opportunities themselves. So we'll open up a world for people today. Anything you want to
Awesome.
say, to share, introduce yourself? Who are you?
Yeah. So thank you so much, Olivia. It's been amazing connecting with you as well. And, one of the things that I am for the world is space for people's most authentic expression to arise, and also for people to experience the kind of love and intimacy and sexuality and relationships that really make them sing, like really are beyond what they could imagine in terms of like how fulfilling it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I am committed to that just in my individual relationships with people that I work with one-on-one. Also just in my performance. So I'm a performance-based artist, which means I dance, I sing, I act, I model. And in all of those spaces, I really love embodying that sense of intimate connection with my audience and with what it is that I'm sharing. And a lot of my work is very in the realm of like romance and intimacy and the body. And so seeing that for people.
Wow. What wonderful
And
things
I'm
you're
excited
doing.
about this conversation. Yes.
Yeah. Great.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, why don't you share with us what you would say body presentations are, just how they go first, and then I'll ask you about your experience with it.
Wonderful. Yes. So what I share with people when I talk about body presentations is it's like telling the story of your body from head to toe.
Mm-hmm.
So and disrobing as you go to really like share like, okay, these are my fingernails, like
Mm-hmm.
this is, I don't have a scar, well I have a scar here, I actually don't know where I got that from, but like here's a scar where that came from, my hair, this is the story of my hair, this is the story of my eyes and what I think about my eyes, my mouth, my breasts, my stomach, my legs, and so on.
Yes.
And so it's really just this, it's a space to share the story of one's experience with one's own body.
Great. Thank you. That's a really beautiful way to say it. And, when I did body presentations for the first time, that was last year in March with Ed Epperson, and he's 79 now. And my friend John had told me about this exercise, and I said, "What? I'm going to go and take off my clothes, with this man, and why am I going to do this?" And he said, "Well, I'm not sure what you'll get out of it, but I know you'll get something really, really big." And I said, "Well, why?" And so when I asked Ed, what is it about doing this and telling the story of our body from head to toe that has people get breakthroughs or have results from it? He said that the best way he can explain it is that anywhere we have shame in the world about our bodies or our past or our lives, it inhibits our productivity. And so that in body presentations, we get to release shame that we hold around our body and the story of our body to get productivity in any way, like in doing our dishes or in our performance. And so do you think that, can you see for yourself that letting go of anything, Well, what I want to know, I guess, is as a performer and somebody who does work with the body and with sexuality, were you already comfortable being naked? And, how did that change for you? Or did it change with body presentations?
Yeah. So I have certainly had, like, I had been in experiences before where I was on stage or on camera, minimal clothing or no clothing for what it was that, the art piece that I was a part of.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something that had been a long time coming. I used to have a relationship with my body such that I would cry when I went into dressing rooms.
Wow.
And like saw myself and was trying on new clothes. And I was just so in denial about like, this is what my body was, and I wanted it to be different. Like I wasn't choosing it the way that it was. And it was so doing the body presentation for the first time was like I felt nervousness come up, and I felt like, and I knew that there was something for me there because I felt nervous, right? And like the idea of being seen fully by someone and a stranger, which is kind of funny because I think that there might, when I look into life, there has been even more of a fear around being seen nude with people that I'm like sharing intimacy with, right?
Yes.
And like creating like a deep relationship with. The thing that I really got from my body presentation that was with Ed Epperson, that was so profound for me was realizing that any view that is had on my body, whether I have it or someone else has it, is one possible view. So I got present to, well, like I'm completely nude with this person. I'm telling the story of my body, and I'm realizing I have experienced my body in so many different ways. And I've had so many different views. Like the view, my body is ugly. My body is gross. My body is disgusting. This part of my body, right? Like my thighs or my stomach is gross, right? And I've also had an experience of having the view of my body's beautiful. Like my belly is like luscious, my breasts are like beautiful and they're like perfectly shaped. I mean, all that, right? And I really started to realize that you break it down, it really is just one possible view. And so I had people in my life who had said things about my body. Like I'm walking when I'm 13 years old and walking home from school, and these older kids drive by in a Jeep and roll down their window and say, "Hey, you're too fat to be wearing that skirt."
Wow.
Like that kind of experience and I made that mean so much. Yes. I let that drag my spirit down for, who knows how long. Like that memory really stuck with me. And that was one possible view on my body at one moment. And there was something, the body presentation that I really got that if there's all these different views of my body, I can actually stand in like none of them, like just not have a view on it and just let it be my body. Or I can choose the view that I take on, which is my body's beautiful. My body's functional. Like my body like moves really well, like I have a choice instead of this like unconscious, like back of my head, like that voice running me.
Yes.
I actually have a choice in the matter of my relationship with my body.
So wonderfully said, that we're not any certain way and that we actually get to decide once we can see what that voice has been saying. Yeah. That's wonderful. It's wonderful. And
thank you.
Yeah. And so if you had to think of one thing in your daily life or in your life that's happened between when you did body presentations and now, one physical, concrete thing, an experience, or something that's just different for you in the world now, what comes to mind? What's something that you see?
it's different in the world.
Or do you think any
I have
opportunities?
noticed
Oh,
a shift.
sorry, I was interrupting you. Do you think any opportunities that you've gotten between now and then you could point to them coming from doing the body presentation?
Oh, okay. I have a great, so I'm thinking like, I'm looking at my, my sex life and just how that has been,
Mm-hmm.
you know, transforming so much in the last couple of months, and how that absolutely had something to do with it. I used to have this story about my body being undesirable, or, you know, me being undesirable. And I went to a festival a couple weeks ago. My gosh, I'm going to share this.
Okay, great.
I went to a festival a couple weeks ago, and I set out to make out and have sex. Like, that's what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a breakthrough for me, because I used to think like it had to happen a certain way, and I really needed to like be super comfortable with somebody and like know that I could trust them to like be good to me and have like a safe container. And I was really just like jumping in, you know, and like going for it and being adventurous, you know. Um and I ended up meeting several people that weekend who I did exactly those things with. And it was just my sense of like, it wasn't about my body, how I thought about my body. It was about the experience that I wanted to have with people in the space of adventure and play. Like, my body, it's involving my body, and my views of my body are no longer even part of the equation.
Wow.
It is Allyssa creating this experience for herself.
It sounds like
generating experience.
That's fantastic. It sounds like you went from relationships or interactions with people just being something that would kind of turn up in your world when they turned up, to you saying, this is what I want to experience, and it's going to happen. And then it did.
Yes, that's exactly what it was.
Wow.
Exactly.
Wow. And it sounds like that not having those concerns about what would people think, or what would they say, or what's their view, it sounds like that you were just then free in your thoughts and your actions and in your mind to then be present with those people.
Exactly. Those concerns were not present. I was really just able to be myself and be with them.
Yeah.
I really tried that on in a way that I hadn't experienced before.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And I've, you know, in talking with other people that have done body presentations, whether what they want to create is, you know, interactions with another person, intimate interactions, or if they want to create a new job, or if they want to create some kind of physical change in their body, that same kind of autonomy of it before just happened however it happened. You know, the job just, you happen to find it online, or somebody comes to you, to I'm going to find a job, I'm going to, you know, have this change happen. That autonomy and power is something that I've heard many people say they get, no matter what the realm is.
Well said. Autonomy and power. That's it. And freedom.
Freedom.
There's a freedom in not having all of that stuff in the way that's in the way. And when you're with another person completely nude, completely exposed, and you actually get out of the way the stories about your body, and you can just be with that person, it's just brought me it's caused me to be so much more present with people too. Just that everyone, like, people have stuff going on about themselves. And for me to be a space where I'm just so totally comfortable with me that I actually be with them, whatever their concerns are, And once their concerns are out of the way, then it's really the space for both of us to experience that sense of freedom and that sense of possibility and that sense of, we get to generate and create our experience together.
That's great. So that's what you get to give people now. That's the contribution that you can make from having this experience. Yes. Yeah. Wonderful.
Yes.
Well, we're out of time for today. Anything you want to leave people with?
Oh, wow. What I want to leave people with is just what's coming up for me is just courage. Courage to get out of the way whatever's in the way of you being yourself and being with people and really stepping into a whole new world where whatever you want for yourself, your body, your intimacy, your relationships is possible.
Thank you, Allyssa. All right. Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you.